Reflect, review, revise. Have you been watering the seeds you planted at the beginning of this year? Greetings, beautiful soul, and welcome to my channel, The Optimist Hub. My name is Yanga, and today's video, let's do a little bit of a mid-year review. Let us do some reflection. Let us review and revise our goals. Okay, so if you do recall, beginning of this year, I made a video called Vision 2025, and I prompted all of you guys to please start planning for this year. Plan your goals, your visions, your ideas, and be very strategic about how you are planning to move, right, in the year that is 2025. So before we get started, I have here with me my lemon ginger tea, which you must have seen in the first clip of this video. It's so good. So I'll be drinking my tea from time to time. Anyway, now let's get to it. I think the biggest thing when it comes to mid-year review is it's a call to sit down with self. It's a call to reflect. It's a call to really just be one with self and reflect on the half year that was, right? Look at the goals that you have set. So that's the reflection part. It's you looking back at how things panned out and review if the things that you have set for yourself are actually in motion, and if you are taking daily steps towards this goal that you want to achieve by the end of the year. And we also need to revise existing goals, and it's never too late to change. Also, it doesn't mean because it's July it's too late, you now need to stick to your original plan. You can literally change. No one is chaining you to the goals that you set, right? We have free will, right? So my question to you is though, have you been watering the seeds you planted beginning of this year? And the answer to that will really give you insight as to how much you have grown from the beginning of the year to now. And if you haven't, for whatever reason, that's okay, because you still have time, and it's never too late to start. Like I said, planning. It's never too late to start setting goals for your life, as long as they're within the premise of the SMART goals. I think I've spoken or touched on this in my video, the one that I did beginning of the year. Basically, your goals need to be specific. They need to be measurable. They need to be attainable. They need to be realistic, and they need to be time-based as well. And so, basically, as long as your goals are within that premise, that's not necessarily to say they're only limited to these, but the SMART analogy or goals setting principle is the foundation, right? And so we need to look at what goals were set, right? I think in that video I advised that you perhaps write down these goals on your journal, or in a notebook of some sort, because sometimes it's really important to write down your goals. It is very important to see it on paper, right? Because sometimes things can get lost, especially in the mind, because we are consumed by so many things and it's easy to forget, right? But when you have something written down on paper, you are less likely to forget, and it's easy to refer back to, right, when you want to review, right? So again, review the strategies that were set in place. Again, strategy what is it that you needed to do in order to get from point A to point B? What is it that you need to do still, or more of, or less of, in order for you to move from point B to point C? For example, if you really are wanting to pursue something and procrastination has been a big stumbling block, that's something that you kind of need to work more on trying to combat. So you need to do less of the procrastination and more of the proactiveness, and being really mindful, and most importantly being very intentional about your actions that are inspired, right? I always say this. Your actions need to be inspired by your goals, by your visions, your ideas, and the inspiration stems from the intention. You need to have the intention. You need to be intentional about wanting to move from point D to point E, right? So that you can get to the mountaintop, which is point Z, right? And that is not unattainable. That is not impossible. It is very possible for you to get there, even if now you're starting from point ground zero, right? It's very possible, because nothing is impossible. Okay, if you put your mind and you set your mind to it, and you're very, very, really intentional about what you want, you can get from 0 to 100 in these 6 months, because time is also an illusion, right? I've mentioned this a couple of times. It's an illusion. So don't ever feel like, oh, because it's been 6 months, I'll start again next year. No, start now, right? I think oftentimes we like to, oh, because it's in the middle of the week, I'll start on Monday. And when Monday comes, you don't, oh no, I'll start next week. We like to push things back. Start whenever the vision, the idea is inspired. Whenever the goal or the dream is inspired, start right there. Don't wait for a future that is not even certain, right? The moment that you have right now is the moment that you need to bring to life whatever it is that is presenting itself to you, that is making its revelation to you. And so another thing as well is you need to rate the strategies that you used, right? Rate them. Literally, this is a sit down exercise. You are your own assignment. I'll make reference to one of my previous videos as well, where I talk about you being the assignment. You are your own assignment. You are your own homework. Literally, because we're constantly working on ourselves, and the reason why we're constantly working on ourselves is because we are constantly evolving as well. And so, rate the strategies. If the strategy was not working for you, check it out. Try and find other ways of going about it. If it means you need to be more robust, if you need to be, put yourself out more, if it means networking more, if it means knocking on doors that you never thought you would knock on. Again, I always say this: the door will not open unless you knock on the door. You will not receive unless you ask, because no one will know that you are in need of help. If you need help, if you need guidance on anything, always ask. And there's a saying in Zulu which goes, indlela ibuzwa kwabaphambili. Loosely translated, it means the road is asked from those who are ahead of us. In other words, this is to say, if you need guidance, ask the relevant people. They will guide you, right? And I think oftentimes, again, with the fear of perception, we have the fear of being seen as people that are not knowing of things. You know what I mean? It's like, if you don't know, you don't want to ask, because you don't want to be perceived as someone who doesn't know. But you see, that's just going to set you back, right? The only way to really make it in life, we can't move in silos, right? We are a community, and as I always say, we are teachers and students of each other. I'll continue to reiterate this in each and every video of mine. We are students and teachers of each other. And so Community is very important. Hence, I mentioned creating networks, putting yourself out there, mingling with people. Literally, sometimes, honestly, in order for you to get to the top, you need other people to lift you up. You can't just get there by yourself. Not entirely, it's not always the case, right? And so, something to reflect on, right? Again, you need to really want this. You really need to want this. You need to be intentional, and your actions need to be in alignment. Okay, they need to be in alignment with the version of self that you see, as the highest version of yourself. Again, when we revise the initial goals, like I said, chuck and eliminate what is not in alignment. What is not in alignment with you now, and what is not in alignment with the highest version of yourself. I think it's also very important when we reflect is, again, look at your vision board. So if you created a vision board, go back to it, look how far you've come. And I mean, if you need to create a new one, create a new one. Refer to your journal. If you've written down stuff, look at what you've written down and reflect, revise, and review where necessary, right? So just to remind you, there are 8 pillars of setting goals. Okay, so yes, the foundation is setting SMART goals. And I think in my video from the beginning of the year, I spoke about POC being something that you can apply, which is very important when it comes to planning or creating a vision, is to plan, is to organize your life, is to lead, and most importantly, to have some sort of control in the things that you have control in. So the 8 goal pillars, which I've written down, I'm going to be looking down from time to time. But the first is spiritual goals. Whatever it is that you feel needs a bit of work spiritually, whether it is to reignite or evoke a spiritual journey, get closer to God, the higher power, just, write down whatever it is that you want to do, right? What is it, for example? You want to get closer to God. And if you're a Christian, what does that look like? The strategy there is, I need to make time for the word. I need to meditate on the word. I need to pray on the word, with the word as well. I need to listen to worship music. I need to go to church. Whether you are returning to church or you are finding a new church, those are the strategies that you can use, right? Then we have physical goals or health goals. Again, you want a clean lifestyle, then look at what you're eating, right? Check out the junk food, start implementing healthy foods. You want to walk more, hike more, put yourself out there, start small. You can literally start with wanting to achieve 5,000 steps and then maybe go to 10,000 steps, and hey, you might even push it a little and do 15,000 steps a day, right? So that is literally what you can look at. Career goals, again, what do you see for yourself doing? Is it in alignment with what you truly want? Do you want to grow in this career? What do you need to do in order to grow in the multiple careers, or just this one career that you're venturing into? Is the career in alignment? Do you have career visions and goals? Do you want to climb the corporate ladder or just any ladder? Do you want to diversify? All of that. Sit down with self and really be honest and true to yourself. Have a career map, right? I think oftentimes people start in careers that they didn't really study for because of the unemployment situation, or but if you can carve yourself a career path that is in alignment with who you truly are and what you want to be and what you want to do, right? Then we have financial goals. Again, saving investing, spending less, budgeting. Those could be practical steps that I'm just giving you guys practical and hypothetical examples. But yeah, if you want to start diversifying in your investments, maybe you want to start buying shares, go for that. Anything. Look, the world is your oyster. Okay. Another one is relationship goals. You want to get closer to your family. You want to become more family orientated. You want to let love into your life. You want to love more, create friendships, etc. Again, that would be relationship goals. And then we have personal development. Again, it's very important to come back to self, because you are literally the only home you will ever know forever. Well, not forever, but for the rest of your life, right? Your body is your home. Your soul is the essence of your being. Your spirit is the core of your existence. You are energy. You are spirit. You are vibrating, whether it's high vibrations or low vibrations, but you are constantly, you know what I mean? You are alive. Invest in yourself. Pour into your own cup, right? Be it mindset shifting, mindset growth, expanding, your, I guess, knowledge on just your being and your existence. Read more. Again, I guess attend events that are centered around personal development. It's because, again, we are constantly evolving and constantly growing. Like I always say, right? Personal development is not a linear journey, number one. It's also a constant thing. It's not something that you say, oh, I'm done. Like, you're constantly evolving. Every day you are constantly evolving. So personal development is very important. Something that will bring you closer back to self, because sometimes we tend to lose ourselves, right? We get caught up in all the other external factors and other people's opinions and how other people treat us and etc., that we forget that home is where your heart literally is. Like, come back home to self. That is that on personal development. And then the last one will be educational goals. So if you have aspirations of pursuing your studies further, getting that master's degree, getting that MBA, getting that honors degree, getting that PhD, whatever, if you want to do that short course that's going to enhance your knowledge and skills, especially in your career, then again, go for it, so yeah, those are literally the only pillars that I have. I'm pretty sure there are more out there, but yeah, with that said, beautiful soul, I truly hope that today's video was very helpful and very insightful, and that it helps you to, again, reflect, review, and revise your goals, your plans, and that it's never too late to start over. And it's very important that I should say this: it's never too late to start over. This mid-year could just be your new year, because look, even for me personally, I have my vision board, which this time I actually decided. So last year I had an actual physical vision board, which is literally right across me right now. There are things that I'd say 90% of what's on that vision board actually came to life. There's only one or two things that are on there that I now carried over to this year. So I mean, likewise, if you had a quarter one, quarter two, goals, and they were not met, it's fine to carry them over to quarter three, but please be intentional about bringing them to life. This year, however, I have resorted to having a digital vision board, which I look at now and then, because of how, for example, with me, look, things haven't really panned out the way I would have liked them to, and that's okay, because I understand that there were certain circumstances that were beyond my control, and you know, there's nothing I can do about that. But what I can do now is to try my best, is to try and show up. Very important. Show up, be intentional about showing up. And so me and you have homework. We have homework. We have an assignment to fulfill, which is to bring to life you know, the best versions of ourselves by literally leaning into the goals and visions that we have set for ourselves. I think it's very important that we show up for ourselves, because oftentimes we show up for a lot of people, we put ourselves in the back burner, you know, but I think it's very important, not only for you, but for the inner child. I always think of that in the younger version of me. Actually, I think that drives me more than anything. The youngest version of me drives me. Most of the things that I do is because of her, and it's for her, right? I don't ever want to disappoint her, and she's within me, right? She's me. I am her, and all the things that I do, and you know, all the aspirations that I have are truly in alignment with her. And so make the younger child in you proud, and the you that is in this present moment proud as well, by just simply showing up and being very intentional about what you do. And with that said, beautiful soul, for the rest of the 6 months, may goodness and grace lead you to greater heights of success. Namaste.